Well, we're back on the channel. Quick turnaround after last night. Good to have Colin Logue tonight. Maiden City coach. I haven't seen you play football, Colin, but I've been told you're a top player. But I suppose there's a wee charity match coming up, and I don't know if you can remember, but you says you were playing in it, so I'll be looking forward to seeing you in that there. Obviously a big Man United fan as well, so we'll be chatting about United tonight. But Logie, I know you're on holidays, so I'm sure you're feeling fresh and you're looking forward to the Foil Cup. So obviously a lot of locals will know what the Foil Cup is, but for anyone that's watching that isn't a local, it's obviously a massive football tournament here, a youth football tournament here in Derry across Donegal as well. Ages right through from 8 to 18. So always a massive week of football, Logie. And you're coaching on it this year. 2013's at Maiden City, which is under 10s, I believe.
Aye, Maiden City, 2013s. I'm also, Gareth, I haven't been chatting to you. Well, I was chatting to you down in the Squilling Pig. I was half cut, was I?
Well, you had a few pints in you that night.
I do remember you were on about that charity match or something too. I can't remember I just remember a charity match now that you mention it. And by the way, somebody you were talking to is a liar. I wasn't a top player, but the charity match, I remember you mentioned that, but sure we can sort something out as well. So the Foil Cup next week. Busy week, Maiden City 2013s, and I'm doing Top of Hull. I've been coaching with Top of Hull as well. 2009s, my older boy plays in that as well. So I've been doing that this past year as well. So I've been flipping between the two clubs. I'll be jumping from the 2013s Maiden City to Top of Hull 09s throughout the week, and then I'm also doing a wee bit of refereeing on it as well. So I have a full week off work, and it's more or less flat out, and then this week's flat out preparing for it as well. So it's all good.
You must be going to do about 30 games then between the coaching of the two teams and refereeing.
Well, the 2013s, there's 5 group games, and then wherever that takes us in on the Thursday and Friday, you know yourself, they're a good wee group, so you never know what's going to happen with them. They'll get another 2 or 3 games, I'm sure, on the Thursday and Friday, so that's 8, and then there's 3 group games with the under 14s Top of Hull, and then they'll get another 2 games, so that's 5, and then I'm refereeing 4 at the minute, and then they'll add you in for more games depending on your schedule. So I haven't got that much time to referee. It's just sort of give them sort of times that I can at the minute. So no, I enjoy that as well. I enjoy the refereeing's decent as well.
I was going to say, so we've got a former player. We've got a former player, coach, and referee on the show. So seeing that, and there's 3 very different jobs. Which one do you enjoy the most?
Oh, did you say playing? Did you?
Aye.
Oh, Gareth, everybody will tell you playing's the best thing ever. Like, you know, there's no doubt about it. Like, but I'm sure you know yourself. You played a bit, but coaching's good. I enjoy the coaching too. Listen, it's just football. You know me well enough now. I'm just passionate about football, and I love playing it. I love coaching it now, and I'm involved in the refereeing. I get to see a lot of games by refereeing as well, and I get to see some of the brilliant talent around the town, and like we're doing tonight, I love talking about it as well, and we chat about it all the time. So no, listen, everything about football, you know yourself, I love it.
We have you on for your analysis tonight, so pundit tonight. Search 4 jobs for you. Hey, it's been a very, very busy off season for a lot of teams. Maybe the fact there's no World Cup, and it's kind of the first season now next year where we're getting back to the normal, mid-August start, and then we're finishing in mid-May. The season doesn't run until June. There's no COVID. There's no winter break back this year, so maybe that's got something to do with it. But it just seems to be very, very busy out there. Where are you at with United at the minute, Logie? There's a lot of talk, about the takeover. Do you think is the takeover disrupting the transfer window?
But there's no doubt about it is. Well, put it this way: if they had been taken over by now, they would have a bigger budget. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Especially if them Qatari boys took over. I'm not sure what the crack is. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know loads about this takeover. I know as much as everybody else about reading Twitter and that. And at this point, I just don't care who takes them over. I just want them taken over. I just can't stand them leeches. I spoke to you briefly about it. They're just ripping the soul out of United. They have done, and anybody tells you different, haven't a clue. They've taken everything out of United. The stadium's falling apart. The dividends every year. They haven't put a penny in their club. The culture's been ripped apart. And in fairness to Ten Hag, it's taken him now to come in and probably rebuild a bit of the culture. And what he needs now is a takeover, whether it's a Qataris or Jim Ratcliffe. I don't know, and I don't know much about the two of them in terms of their takeover. But what I do know is they'll probably have more of a transfer kitty if one of them takes over. And hopefully the debt will be cleared, and hopefully they'll put money into rebuilding the stadium and the training ground and that, and which is what United need. And I told you offline as well, I can't see myself going back to Old Trafford until them boys are away. And funny, I was at tickets last year to the Spurs game, Gareth, and I told her, I told you already. Is she ready to take a square? I said, I told you already, I'm not going over until things are sorted out with these boys. And then obviously it turns out it was probably our best performance this season at home to Spurs, where we were absolutely brilliant.
Might have been Sunday with Spurs as well, to be fair, but he did play well. Owen's saying here, as a Liverpool fan, it would be scary to see United with new people in charge, referring to the new ownership. There's no secret that these Qataris have a lot of money, Colin. Why do you think it's taken so long? Are the Glazers digging their heels in? Because it was rumored that they want $6 billion roughly, and then they put $6 billion on the table, the Qataris, and then they've changed their tune. They says they want closer to $7 billion. So, where do you see this ending up? Do you think the club will eventually be sold in the next sort of 6 months, or you think you could be stuck with this lot for an hour?
Just reading all the rumours over the past few months, I thought it would have been, maybe it's me getting sucked into all the rumours and all the Twitter crack. I just thought it would have been completely done by now. Obviously, these things takes time, but I just thought it'd be done because they want it sold and they know the fans want them out. And I thought, but they're obviously trying to get more money. They're trying to strike a deal in some way. There's talk then that the two of them trying to stay on under Jim Ratcliffe and all that. Gareth, we haven't a clue what's going on in terms of negotiations and what's happening. We're only seeing rumours. But I was just reading one of the boys on Twitter as well. He says at this point he's resigned himself to the fact that they're staying on and they're not selling the club. Now,
see if you put yourself in their shoes, Colin, right? To try and bring a bit of balance onto this, right? Obviously, the fans don't like them. They don't really want to be there. They're not prepared to put any of their own money in. But United's not just a football club, really. They're a brand. They're a money-making machine. Even if they were to sell them for $6 billion, there's talk of, them looking to still have some sort of share in it because United's going to constantly make money, regardless, because they're such a, they're a massive, they're probably the biggest club in the world. There's a lot of debate about who it is, but I've heard even some fans, Liverpool fans have said that they're definitely the biggest club in England. So can you see why it's taken so long that they're maybe humming and hawing and trying to maybe push the money up, maybe trying to get shares invested under the new ownership, that this is going to take a lot longer than maybe some people assumed?
They're probably looking to squeeze an extra, I don't know, a few $100 million or $500 million. That's the only way I can see it. Can you see them staying on? I can't. Nobody likes them. How can they stay on? And the only way, if they do make a decision that they're going to stay at the start of the season, the only way that they're going to be forced out is by fans not attending games, not buying things, and not supporting the club financially. And I would love it if all fans done it, but I feel as if United's fan base are a bunch of lambs at times.
Is that not impossible, Colin, though? Because you've got so many tourists now going to games. It's nearly impossible.
It's not just Manchester. I know what you're saying. Yeah. It's not just the hardcore Manchester fans, and they probably would do that. I agree with you, but imagine the same situation and say, I don't know, Italy or something, the hardcore in Italy and Rome or something like that. They would definitely, they would force the takeover and force them out. But I don't see it happening with United. I wish it would. I just don't know. I just want them out. Honestly, I can't at this point. I can't stand them. They have no interest in United as a brilliant football club going forward. They have no interest in it. It's plain to see.
Are you worried about this now that this was all? It sort of come on at the back end of the season, and everyone was thinking, right, happy days, we'll get this done by maybe June, and then we can attack a transfer market in July and whatever. But as the weeks go on, you said your first pre-season game today beat Leeds 2-0. Obviously, there's going to be there's more games to come where you'd expect more first team players to be involved. But could this be a potential disruptor if this hasn't sorted and you come out of this transfer window? The season started. There's still more going on in the background with the Glazers.
Are you trying to nail me at the start of this podcast? Are you trying to get me going or what? Because
is this a potential disruptor that there's so much talk off the pitch it could end up distracting the player, the manager on the pitch?
I think Ten Hag has everything under control. I do. I think he's that type of manager that he won't let them kind of outside influences come under the playing side. Well, yeah. I believe he's that type of manager, but obviously, preferably, I'd want everything sorted in the background. I'm reading he's got, without the takeover, I'm reading he's got 120 million or something of a budget, and then now I'm reading to get an arm midfielder and he has to sell 2 or 3 and all this. And now, I don't think he'll let any of this takeover crack influence what's happening in the training ground or what's happening in preparation for the start of the season. I don't. You know yourself. He's that type of disciplinarian, isn't he?
Well, you see last year with Ronaldo, like he stamped that out right away, didn't he?
He seems to have a brilliant hold in the club at the minute. That's just from the outside. That's my opinion, but and I can't see it. I can't see all this crack really having a detrimental effect. I can't.
Well, shift their focus from off the pitch, stay on the pitch, leave the politics out of it now. Yeah, I can see already. You're right. I'm learning the Andy mousetraps here, and you haven't but yet. So, like in your opinion, Colin, what do United need this season now in the transfer market? They compete next season. With the likes of Man City, Arsenal. We've seen the 2 boys on last night. They feel Liverpool are going to be right up there challenging. What do United need in terms of players and positions? They really put it up to Man City and Arsenal next year.
What do you think? What's the obvious?
Well, I think they're definitely should be looking at a striker. Who that striker may be, I'm not sure.
That's why I see.
I think they're short. I think they're centre back short, definitely, because they're Varane or Martinez were to get injured. You're going to have Shaw going back on there, so I think midfield they're still one short as well, even with Mount coming on. So I think United need to buy players that's going to come under the first 11. They don't need any more squad players. I think they have enough kind of players that can come on and out. I think they need 2 or 3 world class players to come on. And really be a game changer, a bit like Casemiro was for you last year. Casemiro come on, elevated that midfield. They need that in defence now, and they need that in the striker area, I think, and they won't be far away. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think this. Well, you forgot to mention the probably the most important part at the moment.
Goalkeeper, but I'm here. Not could be. We're going to speak about that, but I'm hearing the goalkeeper's pretty close. So
they reckon it could be tied up in the next day or 2. I will leave that then, or leave that to 10 minutes time or whatever if you want to chat about that. But so the Mount deal's done, and then the most important position before they do anything is the number 9. Anthony Martial's still there, and they really need a 20-goal striker, 25-goal striker, and we know the obvious.
Kieran Preston, he was on last night, Liverpool. He says United need a bigger overhaul in Liverpool. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Hey, listen, he's entitled to his opinion. I just think, put it this way, see if United now went out and signed Kane tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that'll cost. Then, and obviously they got Onana, so that's Onana, Mount and Kane. I would be over the moon to go on the season with that. And I know there's probably 1 or 2 other positions you'd love to strengthen, but I would be over the moon to go on the season with that.
Now you've mentioned them, right? The rumored price tag for Kane is 120 million. That's kind of what Spurs want. Should United be in there? Would you be prepared to shell out that kind of money for Harry Kane?
Right. You're freezing a bit there, I think.
Oh, sorry. You lost me. Sorry, go ahead.
I would do it, but no, I heard what you were saying eventually. No, listen, he's not worth 120 million with a year left in his contract. Maybe he is. Maybe some people disagree with that, but I would. It's not my money. I would go and pay it for him. He'll make a hell of a difference. He's a game changer. He's guaranteed 25 straight away as soon as he comes on, and he'll probably set up an R15. United's on about this young lad, Rasmus Højlund, this young striker from Atlanta, and I've seen clips of him or whatever, and he looks a good young player, but he's not going to make a difference. Harry Kane will make a difference. If Harry Kane comes to United and he stays fit for the full season, United will get close to Arsenal and Man City. And I don't even want... I think Arsenal overachieved last year, maybe. So maybe they would get close to Man City. There was periods in that season last year, United were a wee bit close to City. Now, I'm not saying United will play the entertaining football and the dominating football that Man City play, but Ten Hag has proven he gets results with his way of playing. And you add another 20 odd goals to that, they wouldn't be far away, I don't think. And that's why Mason Mount and providing Onana is the real deal as well.
Do you think the birds flew with Kane? Do you think that ship sailed? That, if they were going to move, they'd have moved by now? It looks like Bayern Munich are the only real... We've seen PSG today, but apparently he's no interest in PSG. Apparently Bayern Munich's kind of the only move away at the minute that's on the cards. Do you see that if Kane does end up United, they probably need him now to stay at Spurs and then maybe snatch him on a free next year?
Possibly. I think if United had already got 2 or 3 out the door and maybe raised 40, 50, 60 million, they might have been on there for him, but I don't know if they can afford him at the minute. Obviously, Bayern Munich, do you think Bayern Munich's making moves for him if they don't think that there's something there that can happen?
We've been involved in football. There's no way Bayern Munich would be speaking to Spurs if Kane wasn't up for it. They've already spoke to Kane, probably already agreed personal terms with him, but I think the sticking point is the fee here. They're well short of where Spurs want. And Bayern Munich are not like a Real Madrid where they splash 100 million on players. The highest fee they've ever paid, 65 million for the lot. So,
and especially not a 29-year-old.
I'm not sure they're going to get the Spurs kind of price tag, and
I don't think that's the right price. I think Spurs would put 120 on them. They would accept 100. Surely they would accept.
I think they would accept 100.
Maybe short of it, maybe 90, 95. I don't know, but they would definitely. Daniel Levy, yourself's a hard man to negotiate with. It's just obviously adding another 20 in there for.
I think if Bayern come on with 100 million, they would take it, because if you think about it, there's a good chance he won't sign a new contract. Although that's not been ruled out, but I think it's pretty unlikely. So if you're getting 100 million, you're selling him to a non-Premier League team. So therefore, he can only really ever hurt you if he plays in the Champions League against you. Which Spurs have to get into it first, and then they are. What's the chances of them actually drawing Bayern? There's a chance, but it's not. There's a good chance you can never see him. Whereas you weigh that up against him staying another year, and then next year he goes and joins United, for example. That's all of a sudden then it's a different ball game. So
why would he not? Why would he not want to join United at the moment? Surely he would want to join United. I think United's probably the only club that he can join the Premier League. Would I be right in saying that?
I don't think he would go to Arsenal or Chelsea because of the Spurs connection. I think Haaland, I'm not sure if it can work. But having said that, Pep Guardiola's a big fan, and if he's available on a free transfer next year, Man City might come on for him. I'm not sure. Liverpool don't really see him going with they send younger players. So I think his most likely destination in the Premier League would definitely be United next summer. But Logie, I think I have some good news for you in terms of I think he's going to be a Spurs player this season. I don't see Bayern putting the money up to convince Levy to sell him. I think if you're looking at their bad news, what's 68.5 million? If that was to go to, I can't see them going past 80 really. So I don't think Spurs will sell at that. I think, they'll be looking at it if Kane can get us back in the Champions League next season. That's 50 or 60 million qualification money alone. So, there's not a big difference. Wait, so I think it would have to be 100 million.
You're breaking up there big time,
And
Gareth.
I don't think I went a wee bit blurry there, did I?
You're breaking up big time there. I didn't catch
I
it.
think there's a
I,
power cut down here.
I was just saying there. No, I think you might have picked me up wrong. I think this summer Kane is United's probably the only club that Kane would go to in England. Now I think it's a different kettle of fish next summer. I think it would go. I think why would Liverpool not be on there? I don't see how Liverpool wouldn't be on there on a free. And I don't see if providing they got Champions League, they would be big players for Kane's signature. I might be wrong, but can you not see him going there as well as United? I could.
Interesting.
Could you
We'll
see
throw
him
that
going
one
to
out there to anybody
Newcastle?
watching.
Hey?
Newcastle as well could come on, but I think it's going to be Spurs or Manchester. But we'll throw that out there. Any Liverpool fans watching, would you take Kane on a free transfer next year, and could you see Liverpool moving for him on a free transfer? You mentioned the goalkeeper earlier on, Colin. Onana. Do you think this is a massive upgrade on De Gea? And just on De Gea, I know he didn't have his best. His years towards the end were he had a lot of mistakes, but he had a lot of good years at United as well. Was he harshly treated by the way the contract situation developed? And they had a contract offer on the table, then they took it off the table after he had signed it. So where do you stand on this?
Well, if that's true and that's the case that he did have a contract offer on the table and it was withdrawn, and they were just ruthless like that, then it is harsh. There's no doubt about it. But then Ten Hag is ruthless. There's no doubt about it. And De Gea,
isn't it?
It is. And De Gea obviously had a couple of howlers and big games there, probably towards the end of the season, which might have made Ten Hag's mind up. Now, saying all that, he's had an unbelievable United career. Nobody can take it away from him. Do I think it's the right decision that he goes this summer? Probably. If he had stayed, I probably wouldn't have been too disappointed either. But I do think it's the right decision. I think there's time for a change here now.
Do you think Onana's a massive upgrade?
I've only seen him 2 or 3 times, right? And what I've seen, he's looked all right. And I keep saying this. I've had a couple of conversations with boys, and he looks really, really good with his feet. And obviously, Ten Hag, he's worked under Ten Hag as well at Ajax, and he's had a brilliant run last year with Inter. But Gary, you have to keep the ball at the back of net. I haven't seen his shot stopping. Now De Gea was unbelievable shot stopper. He did make some all keepers make mistakes, let's be honest. De Gea made some big howlers and big games, but he was also amazing for a large part of his United career. The answer to your question, I don't know if he's a massive upgrade. And I've said this to a few people as well. Be careful what you wish for. Everybody's saying De Gea away, get him out. Very, very, very hard to find a top keeper these days. Liverpool done it with Alisson, and it's kind of a game changer with them. All right, they brought on Van Dijk at the same time, but I don't know. I really hope that he's excellent and he's an upgrade in De Gea. But the jury's out. Massively, the jury's out.
Are you surprised that they haven't given Henderson a chance? There's rumours he could be going to Forest on a permanent transfer. Do you think that Forest maybe has level just and United's just time to go and get some money on?
I think Henderson thinks Real Madrid's his level.
He does, doesn't he?
He might be the only one too that thinks that. He's hard work up boy, listening to. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him. He's probably around a top or 6th, 7th, 8th top half goalkeeper. He may well turn out to be top drawer, but I haven't seen enough to suggest. And listen, there's lots a few managers as well. I've thought that he's not capable of being United's number one. So They can't be wrong. All them can't be wrong. So, and obviously Ten Hag doesn't fancy him. He fancies 40 million for him or whatever. So, I hope Onana turns out. On the hair one when he put out that. Remember he put out the big.
The Instagram post, was it?
The Instagram post. It was a tough old read as well because it brought back how good he was and the good times that he gave you.
He was there for what, 12 years.
12 years. His record was unbelievable. He's son like 2 Golden Gloves. He's I don't know how many players a year. He's nearly 200 clean sheets and he's won maybe 4, 5, 6 trophies. So, but in today's world, people just remember the big mistakes. And I hope this boy Onana can, because De Gea wasn't really dominant of his area. I hope Onana brings that to the table, because that's one thing De Gea wasn't. He wasn't really that dominant of the penalty box, and I hope Onana can bring that. And they reckon he's unbelievable with his feet, which is the way Ten Hag wants to play as well. So hopefully he can bring that to the table as well.
I think it's a good signing. It's a lot of money though, isn't it? They're talking around 50 million. It's going to be quite price tag for a goalkeeper. I've seen Butts when he was more at Ajax than Inter Milan, because I watched a lot of Ajax in their Champions League run when they got that good season. They ended up playing Spurs, and he was very, very good in that first leg. And the second leg as well, he made some big saves, but we ended up jamming our way through it for that last minute goal. But no, he's definitely been talked about for a fair few years. I was surprised they ended up Inter Milan because he was linked with Arsenal before they got Ramsdale. And there was apparently he was available for around 12 million about 3 or 4 years ago. Nobody took him, so it's big money now, obviously, for Inter Milan. And as you said, he was very, very good last year for Inter Milan in the Champions League. Just coming back to the Harry Kane with Liverpool, some of the comments here. Liverpool wouldn't pay his wages, but I would take him in a heartbeat. And can't see Kane going to Liverpool. We want younger players, but I would personally love it. So I don't think there's anyone debating that they wouldn't take him. It's just the fact that they don't usually go for that profile of player, Colin. So, but as you say, it's not every summer a world-class player becomes free on the market. So
and the thing about it is, the obvious thing, he's English, and all right, they're not going to pay his wages. They might supplement that with a big signing on fee. They might just say there's what, 30 million or whatever, and then we'll pay what, 200 grand a week, 250 grand a week. They supplement that sort of wage that he's supposed to be on, which would be what, 350 grand a week or something like that. So they might listen. I just think Liverpool would try to make it happen. They could be a game changer. He could win them as a Champions League again. So I can't see how Klopp wouldn't be in for somebody like that.
I've heard Spurs are going to put down a 400 grand a week offer for Kane to stay this week, so that's going to be interesting. The highest paid player in the Premier League, so it'll be interesting to see what happens out there. Another English player we're going to talk about is Mason Mount, Colin. First signing of the summer for United. A lot of Chelsea fans disappointed that Mason Mount's going to United, but if you look at the players that's been on the market this summer in terms of McAllister, Maddison, and Mount. Madison's went to Spurs, McAllister's went to Liverpool, and Mount's going to United. 3 very similar players. Who do you think out of them 3 will be the best signing for their club?
Mason Mount.
Mason Mount?
No, he's not. Mason Mount's a good player. They're all 3 of them's good players. There's no doubt about it. I think Mason Mount's a good signing for United. Yeah. I think he's versatile. He can play off the left. He can play in a 2 in midfield. He can play in a 3 in midfield. He can play as a number 10. And
he's a hard worker as well.
That's the thing that was coming. He sets up goals and he can score goals, but he's feisty and he works hard. I've seen it with Chelsea. He was feisty a few times when he was playing against United last year. Or it was the year before, can't even remember. And I didn't think he had that. But it's obviously something that Ten Hag likes as well. Ten Hag, just looking at his signings, he likes that type of character. That sort of low maintenance, hard working, but quality player. You look at Casemiro, you look at Martinez, you look at even Malacia, who's got a bit of quality, but he's got a wee bit of feistiness about him. Even the signing of Weghorst, who's just a non-stop worker, but obviously lacked a bit of quality. he likes that type of player, and I think Mason Mount brings that to the table, and he's going to be an upgrade, and I think on Eriksen as well, because Eriksen's, although he's got excellent quality, I'm not sure the legs are quite there. I've seen it a few times last year, and I think Mason Mount does have a bit of legs in him. So no, I think he's a brilliant signing. I do, and people might disagree with me, thinking I've got my United head on me. I think he's an excellent signing. I do think Madison and McAllister in particular are brilliant signings as well. But McAllister played against United for Brighton last year, and I thought it was unbelievable.
There are three very good signings.
I've heard since that he lacks some legs. Now, I didn't see it in that game at Brighton against United, maybe because he was so dominant in the ball, and I didn't see that he was exposed with sort of lack of pace that some people suggesting that he has. But he was excellent against United. He looked world class. Now, I think it's a brilliant signing for Liverpool. But Liverpool sometimes they rely on legs in midfield too as well. So,
I'm saying here, Mount's a top signing. Would have liked him at Liverpool. Do you think Mount would have suited Liverpool the way he plays as well?
Probably. I'm sure. Well, it's been said that Klopp was on for him as well, and that's probably why everyone's loving it too, because there's talk that he chose United over a few clubs.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to play in the Champions League, didn't he?
Well, maybe that was a big factor, Gareth. You're right. Maybe that was probably a deciding factor for him. But no. Madison as well. You mentioned him at the start as well. He's going to be if he stays fit, by the way, because he's prone to injuries. If he stays, he'll be brilliant signing for you.
Do you think that midfield three of Casemiro, Bruno, and Mount is a really strong midfield three? Do you think that's the type of midfield that United have been missing for the last number of years?
Look, on paper it sounds brilliant. It remains to be seen where Ten Hag sort of prefers Mount. Is he going to play him?
I think he's going to have Casemiro as like a 6, Mount as an 8, and push Bruno further forward and then more of a 10 position. Because out of the three of them, you would fancy Bruno to be the best person at scoring goals and setting up goals. I think Mount down there, Eriksen can't get around the pitch the way Mount will. Eriksen will be more used as a bad power player now, I think, because we know he's got quality. But I think the Mount signing frees Bruno up now. They be closer to the strikers and the front three. So I think this, if anything, signing Mount, you might see a more prolific Bruno. I don't know how you think about it.
No, you could be right. Do you think Mount's going to go straight on that Eriksen position, 4-2-3-1? Or do you think it's going to be like a 4-1-4-1? Like sort of Mount and Bruno beside each other?
I think Bruno's going to get a free role.
Right.
Obviously, you have to work hard as well, but I think he'll get more license because Mount and will have more legs to get around the pitch.
Just listening, Mount says a few times he sees himself as an out and out midfielder who can do both sides of that job. Obviously getting forward and pressing, but also doing the defensive side as well, sort of back towards his own goal. But I don't know what way. That's what the big probably appeal was for Ten Hag, that he can play sort of various roles and he can tinker with him and tinker with Bruno. And funny, I watched a bit of that game today against Leeds, and it looked as if we were playing that 4-1-4-1 at sometimes sort of out of possession. So he might have an idea of Casemiro doing that role in front of the back four, and then them two in front of Casemiro with, I don't know, Rashford and Anthony, and then if they sign, hopefully Harry Kane, then he'll do that number 9 job.
Are you a wee bit worried about that striker position? Because they won that they challenged for the league, never mind won in the league, or competing in the Champions League. They need a goal scorer. They need a striker. You can't rely on Rashford all the time. You need someone that's going to bang on 20 goals.
I think they're going to, once they tie up this Onana deal, all the sounds is that they're going after this Toyland boy. And if you look at him, sort of all the clips, he looks like a raw, young, even younger Haaland.
Yeah, even looks like
nowhere near the player that Haaland does, but he looks that type of player, and he looks as if he's got good movement in the box as well. So here, listen, if they did sign him and he hits the ground running, and especially if you're getting good service from Alex Mount and Rashford and Bruno, then who knows? He could go and score 15-20. It could, and I like signing young players as well. Don't get me wrong. I want to go out and sign Harry Kane, but I love signing young players as well. So, but they need someone that's guaranteeing them 15, 20, 25 this season. Can't depend on Rashford.
You
especially with his injury record as well.
You mentioned earlier on about they probably have to shift some players. They free up funds. They go and sign our players. So, do you think that there certain players in the squad are being priced out of moves? I've heard that they're looking for somewhere between 40 and 50 million for Maguire. They've no chance of getting that, have they?
Oh God, it's the worst sellers in Premier League history. Hey, they're awful. But the thing about they probably are. The thing about it is a lot of these players are in massive money. I think we've spoke about this in the past.
I actually read right before you come on there that Maguire got a wage increase because he's finished in the top 4 last year.
There you are. So
what kind of clowns are run that club? They give them because you have no chance of shifting him if he's in huge wages.
Absolutely, and that's why do you think Martial is still at the club, and he's probably played 4 games in the space of 5 years or so. It's madness. It's like I don't know what Harry Maguire is in 200, maybe over 250, maybe I don't know what. I'm just guessing. Now his next contract, whoever he signs with, he's probably only getting half of that or whatever. So why? No, he can come out and say I'm going to fight for my place, but no, you're not really. Because you're not going to get your place. You're staying because you can't give up these wages. And you know what? Who can argue with that as well? And it's the same with, obviously, Anthony Martial, who's probably in 150, 200 grand a week. He's not even going to get a fraction of that, whoever he signs with, because of his injury record and because of whatever goes on with him. So this is part of the reason why we can't get rid of them as well. We'll probably get 40 million for Dean Henderson. There's talk of Fulham looking to buy Fred. And I like Fred, by the way. I think he's a brilliant squad player, but I'd be happy to take 20 for him or whatever. And then Scott McTominay, who's probably in a big wage as well.
Newcastle, weren't they?
West Ham, I think. They're United's terrible sellers. The one that really stood out, and I think it stood out for everybody, but there must be a reason behind it. Sure, there's the wee young lad who everybody rated highly, was wee boy Iqbal. Did you see that one?
They scored it, did they?
No, the one they sold, the wee boy Zidane Iqbal, they sold for 800,000.
Right.
He was bragging on the first team and all last year, and people were predicting big things of him. And then next thing he sold for 800,000. Like, who goes for 800,000 a million these days? Like, even your average sort of young talent goes for 3, 4, and 5 million. Like, I don't. Listen, there must be a reason behind it, but it stood out for me. Going, what is going on?
I just whenever you said that name, I thought that was one of the goals. I just checked to see who scored for United, and I didn't know any of the 2 players that scored. It must have been 2 youth players, was
it? Two young lads. The wee boy Emeran, and watched him in Korean last year. United were down playing in that Super Cup last year.
Yeah.
And the boy Joe Hugel, he's been there a while. He's a proper number 9. Like, whether he makes it at United's another thing, but he's a proper goal scorer. And then a wee boy that played today came on called Daniel Gore. He was absolutely outstanding down in Korean last year against Northern Ireland. And I really got his photo with him and all, and have the photo. And then there was a piece in the Manchester Evening News and Twitter the other day expecting that he could break into the first team and that. And he came on today, and obviously I'd sent the photo to him to my dad saying this is the wee boy we were on about last year. But he was only, I think he was 17 last year, so he looked unbelievable. I think he's captained the under-21s already. But I full of young players today. It was half of them aren't back yet.
I seen one young player that played. I watched this boy a lot last season for Sunderland. Diallo, he was frightening in the Championship last year. Do you think he'll make an impact this year?
You're hoping, but he has Anthony to get past. They play in the exact same position. You might laugh. I don't know what you think, Anthony. I think there's a player in Anthony. I think he done well at times last year. I love his aggression, I love his intensity, and all right, he's a bit erratic at times, but I think he could grow to be a really, really good player, because I think he's the right attitude in terms of wanting to improve as well. And he has him to get past, and I'm not sure Diallo has that intensity and aggression that Anthony has, and that's exactly what you need probably at the top level. Now, there's no doubt in his quality. You've seen it Gary last year with Sunderland, unbelievable season they had.
That,
But he went up
towards the
to
back end of
Atlanta.
that season, he nearly single-handedly got them promoted. He was brilliant. Like,
Hopefully he can come in and be, even this season, be a challenge for some players and play maybe 20, 25 games. But there's talk he could be a bit part in the Hoyland transfer, come back to Atlanta. He already went to Atlanta as an 18-year-old on loan when United signed him and then loaned him back or something, I think. So there's talk that he might go there for a season and we'll take Hoyland, but
right.
He looks quality.
Before we move on, just on this Maguire one, do you think that Southgate could have a big part to play in this because the Euros is coming up next summer? I don't. After watching them Euro Under-21 championships, I actually called it the World Cup last night, so I apologise. It was actually Euro Under-21, so I lost my train of thought. But Colwell looked rock solid. The Chelsea centre back that's been linked with Liverpool. There's all our emerging centre backs that are going to be playing this season, week in, week out. If Southgate was to phone him now in the next sort of few weeks and say, "Look, Harry, if you're not playing week in, week out this season, you're not going to get a spot in this. You're not going to be playing, but you might not even make the plane going to Germany." Do you think that's where Harry Maguire might have a change of heart and think, right, I'm going to have to take a wage cut to join another team, and then possibly United sort of have a compromise themselves and say, well, if we get 25 million from, I suppose that's some off the wage bill, some money they chase all our players. Do you think that almost like a domino effect here? If it might just take one phone call from Southgate and then all of a sudden things might start happening?
I can't see Southgate doing that. I've seen it mentioned. I've read about it as well.
You think Southgate will play no matter what, even if he doesn't kick a ball all season?
Well, look at all last year he played him and he hardly kicked the ball. He played some games in and out of the League Cup and he played. And if he stays with United, he'll probably get the same as well as what he got last year. I just think Southgate trusts him so much because he's performed in the big tournaments. I don't think you can throw that wee boy Caldwell. I don't know. I haven't seen that wee boy Caldwell player.
Owen said he thinks Caldwell should be in the first team. He reckons he's that good.
I haven't seen enough. I'll be honest, I haven't even seen him once. But everybody's raving about him. I don't think Southgate will give Maguire that ultimatum, because I think he needs him and I think he trusts him, because even though he didn't play a lot last year, United, he still came on to England and played in that England squad and played really, really well, and got his place in the first 11.
Well, if you were Man United, right? If you were Ten Hag or the ownership or the recruitment team, and what would you do? Would you keep Maguire, or do you think it's time for them to move on?
Okay, want them out. It's plainly.
What do you think? What do you think in terms of what would you do?
I would. It has to go. Okay, Maguire has to go. He doesn't fit in. I've said to you in the past, I like Maguire. I think he's a good centre half. This keeps going off. This timer. I think Maguire's a good centre half. There's people have smashed him from pillar to post over the years, and I think he's a very, very good centre half. All right, he's not as fast as what all our centre halves are, but he's got loads of other different qualities. I think he'd be a brilliant signing for someone, even like Newcastle. I think he'd be an excellent signing.
I don't know if he would fit the way. Not that we should be turning our nose up at players, but I don't think he would suit Ange Postecoglou's style of play any more than he would suit Ten Hag's, because I think we're going to be playing out from the back too.
Possible. No, it's not. I think Maguire's decent on the ball. It's his pace, Gareth, when you're pressing.
Well, he's going to play a high line too, Ange, doesn't he?
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why Ten Hag doesn't like him, because I think he's decent on the ball.
I think he would have suited like a Conte last year at Spurs. I think Maguire would benefit from a move to Italy, kind of like Chris Smalling. I think he would really suit the Italian league. I don't know. What do you think?
Probably because they're so defensive. But it's hard to. Smalling's done a good job out there. It's hard for somebody to change country and just fit in like that. But
yeah,
you asked me a question. I think it's time for him to go. It's Ten Hag. I'm sure has made it obvious to him too. Sure, United are speaking to one or two centre halves by all accounts as well. This Sassy boy, and then apparently they're after that. He's a done deal now with Bayern Munich. The Asian lad, Min Jae or something. So I think, but United might go on the season with Martinez. They might go on the season with Varane, Lindelof, and Luke Shaw. They might.
How do you think it ends up? Do you see him being a United player on the 1st of September?
Harry Maguire?
Yeah.
Aye.
Interesting. We'll move on and we'll talk about the main man at United at the minute. He got a lot of praise last season. I thought he'd done a fantastic job. Third place, won the League Cup. They give Man City a game in the FA Cup final. I know both teams probably didn't play that well, but it was a long season. And I don't know about you, Logie, but very few cup finals are great games. They're always scrappy, especially it being a derby. I did think it was going to be tight. So, I don't think United could have done much more. And they were they will a crossbar, a post at the end, and taking the extra time. So, on a different day, it might have been different. So, I don't think United could have done much more last season than what they did. Obviously, there was a few individual games where they were very, very poor and lost big margins, but that can happen. So, do you think that Ten Hag, if he's backed with the right money, backed with the right players that he wants, he can bring them the constant success that they had under Ferguson?
It looks that way. I like him. Every United fan loves him. He's brought something.
He's saying, Kieran's saying that Liverpool need a centre half, preferring to Maguire.
Certainly wouldn't suit Liverpool's style of play. No, I think Ten Hag's proven that the first thing he's done is changed sort of the discipline and the culture around the club, because that was a shambles before he came. He's proven the big decisions he's taken over the course of that year with Ronaldo, and there's one or two, I can't even think, there's been one or two other sort of sticky situations as well. No, it seems as if he's got the club at the minute and in the palm of his hand. Now, he's a long way to go. He has to do it over 3, 4, 5 seasons, but even with his signings, they look good signings. You would trust them. You would trust them with a good transfer budget. The style of play is there at times. It has been there all the time, by the way, but it can't be there all the time unless you're Pep Guardiola. But you can see that they're solid. There's a team spirit. There's an organisation. There's a discipline, and there's quality play at times. The way he wants them to play, I think what he wants going forward is dominating the ball more, and that's why he's always sort of wanted Frankie de Jong, and he knows he can trust him, and he's never going to get him, I don't think. But I don't know if he thinks that Mount's going to be that player. I don't think he will be, but I think he wants to dominate teams and dominate the ball more going forward. Whether he can do that's another thing, but I would trust him. I think at the minute, I feel as if, if you give him sort of a wee bit more leeway in the transfer market, he could get close to City. I might be talking to United hat on, but that's what I see.
Owen's saying here that he would rather play centre back himself, and he's in a walking frame over Maguire. Thanks for your comment, Owen. Fits on the reality, I suppose, that a man in a walking chair once they play at centre back over Maguire. Do you know what, Colin? I agree with you. I think that United need to stick by. I think last season was the first time I've seen United since Ferguson's left where I've seen a plan. I've seen an actual way of wanting to play. I can see, obviously, there's going to be like wee bumps, and you seen that at Brentford away. Liverpool away was a massive one where I thought players just give up. And that's not really a good sign, but I think that was just one of them things, because they responded quite well to that game after, and didn't just down tools.
The reaction was brilliant to that. That's why you still think that he can take the club forward in the next few years, because I know you're intelligent enough to know that there's going to be wee bumps in the way, but that was awful. Don't get me wrong, that was horrible day. But the way they responded, in fairness, and the way they ended up sort of comfortably, and they end up getting top 4, but it would have been nice they won. One of them other cups, but
I think the problem that he might have now, and this is just to provide balance here, I think the problem that he might have now is the fact that they finished 3rd last year, won a trophy. How does he improve in that this year, Logie? Because as much as I do think he's improving, and you might be being controversial when I say this, I'm not sure even if Sir Alex Ferguson's United will be able to stop this Man City team, because they are a different animal altogether in terms of, it's different eras, but if you look at the points totals, I seen Ferguson's teams winning it with 79 points one year, winning it with 80s. This Man City team, you need 90 plus points. They won the league. This is the standard that they set, and I think they're one of them teams. If you get 92 points, they'll get 93. If you get 94, they'll get 95. They're absolute mentality monsters. How a team can win 15, 16 games in a row and compete on all fronts is incredible. Like, so how does it get better this season for you?
I think he closed that points gap. I don't even know what it was. It might have been what in the end up 15
points maybe.
20. I don't know. But I think he closed that. I think he closed that gap sort of significantly, and you have to get top four. See, the Premier League, to get top four is such a huge battle now. It's almost like success for a Liverpool, for a Chelsea, for a Spurs, Arsenal, Man United. I think, and then if you can add a wee trophy on top of that, I think most of the owners around them clubs now are sort of, they should be realistic enough to know that success is maybe closing that gap to City, guaranteeing yourself top four, getting one or two good cup runs or adding a cup to that, and keep chipping away each year. That's the only thing you can do. City.
How long do you see this domination lasting with Man City? How long do you think it'll eventually run out?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I just look at Kevin De Bruyne, right, and I think he's massive to what they do, right? All right, Pep Guardiola is still there, don't get me wrong, right? And he'll probably replace him. Probably replace him with even better than what he has. But I don't see Kevin De Bruyne getting any better. I don't, and he's such a huge player for them.
32 now.
I don't see him getting, and his injuries are they're every season they're there every season for 6 weeks here and there or whatever. So, and if Ten Hag can keep progressing the way he's doing, and if Liverpool come again, if Klopp's still there, Klopp's not going anywhere, by the way. He's an unbelievable manager. And obviously if his midfield click next year, because he's got firepower up there as well, and they could be thereabouts. I know they've got Haaland. And by the way, Haaland's not going to be there for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I think Real Madrid will come calling for him at some point, and nobody turns down Real Madrid. So, to answer your question, they're probably going to be thereabouts for 2, 3, 4 years. That's probably as long as Pep Guardiola is there. I always says that about Ferguson as well. As long as Ferguson's there, United will be all right. It's probably the same with Guardiola.
Yeah,
but I don't see it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. I don't. I can see it for a few, but I also think that people could get closer than what people think. Look at United last year. United were sort of buddy here and there, but at one point, way about 3 or 4 months ago, or 3 months ago, people were talking about a title challenge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they didn't. There was that week they played Arsenal. They had a bit Arsenal, but they lost 3-2 in the last minute. Didn't they?
I don't think they were ever in the title challenge, but people were talking about it, So, and United had an up and down sort of league season where they went on consistent run, and then they had a period of 3, 4 games, and so if they can, as I say, if they can add a number 9 who gets them 20 odd goals, then you never know, they could get closer.
Do you think with Man City won the treble last year, that if there's any year they might have a bit of a drop off, it will be this year? The fact that they won it all last year in terms of Premier League, Champions League, and FA Cup, it can't really get much better than what it did. Do you think there's any chance they'll have a hangover? It might be their points tally was they dropped 10 points. All of a sudden, I think 4 or 5 teams that'll think they can win the league. I think a lot of teams are capable of getting to that sort of 80, they maybe 85. But if Man City were to hit anywhere between 90 and 95, that makes it very difficult for anybody. So do you think there'll be any sort of drop off?
Excuse me. You're hoping that if there's any chink in the armour, it could be that, but you can't see Pep Guardiola letting that happen.
It'll be a big shock, wouldn't it?
You can't see him letting it happen. One thing that can't be underestimated too is Gundogan leaving. What a player! Yeah. Unbelievable player. Not just sure he's
a game player,
and I'm sure he's an amazing character too off the pitch. I'm sure he knits a lot together, and he comes across that way. So he's away, and have they replaced him? I don't even know. Have they signed anyone yet? I don't know.
Well, Well, they're looking at Gabby Vega, but they have brought on Kovacic, haven't they, as well? So,
Oh, yeah, forgot about him. So
but they're
I don't
looking
see
at
him
the
being the type
Spanish
of
lad,
player.
Gabby Vega. So again, I haven't seen a lot of him. He was quite poor in that under-21 final against England. But I'm sure if Pep wants him, there's value in him. Logie, before we wrap up the show, I focused on 3 key areas like I did with the 2 boys last night with Liverpool, which I think are crucial to any part of your season. I think it's your start, your Christmas fixtures, and your running. So I'm just going to have a quick look at these for United. Start of the seasons: Wolves at home, Spurs away, Forest home, Arsenal away, Brighton at home, Burnley away, and Palace at home. On paper, how do you feel about them games?
On paper, they look okay, don't they? Apart from Arsenal be a big one. I know you're going to say Spurs, but I would fancy us against you. I'll be
I
honest.
think, I think
I don't know.
them first 2 away games are pretty tough. Spurs away, Arsenal away. Now I know he's have a very good record at this new Spurs stadium. I think he's have won. He's have won all. I think he's have won 3 out of 4 or something like that. He's drew the first one. He's have won your last few visits there. So he's drew that. Yeah, exactly. He drew last year, but he's were 2 up and he's had the bar as well. He should have been out of sight, and then he's hanging on towards the end. But your record last year, Logie, against them top teams away from home was pretty poor. Do you think that's going to be one area of focus this year that they have to improve on?
It has to be. Just looking at that, if you're looking to do anything in the league, you have to make a brilliant start. And I would think, you have to go and beat Wolves to start the season. And then I fancy us against you. And then Forest, the Arsenal one's massive. I never say I would take a draw with. In fact, I'm not going to say it again here now, but it's a big fixture. And then I fancy us against anybody at home. But I think it's a decent start. I think we can make a really good start this season there, Gareth. And if you do, it obviously sets you up then for it gives you a load of confidence and sets you up for the middle part of the season. But that's not bad. I haven't looked at. I think
it's a very favourable start. Wolves at home. There's a lot of background noise there. I think United at home first game, and it's a Monday night football as well. I think that'll suit them. Spurs away again. It's unknown territory. You just don't know what kind of way Spurs are going to start the season under their new manager. But I would say Logie, if you were going to get any of the sort of so-called big 6 away from home second game, you probably would have wanted Spurs. So you should probably settle flat. Forest at home, I think he's a 1. Arsenal away is huge at it in the season. You don't have a great record away at Arsenal, so that'll be interesting. Brighton at home. I think naturally this year with Brighton, I'm a massive fan. I'm a massive fan of the Zebra, massive fan of Brighton, the way they do football, where they run their club. But I think naturally with the Europa League, they're going to have a drop-off this year. The same, you'll probably see with Villa too. A lot of people are tapping Villa up, but it's very hard, as you know, Logie. They sort of juggle Europe and the league. I think if Newcastle already finished in the top 4 again this season, I think that's an even bigger achievement. The fact they're going to be playing Champions League football. So I think that gives Alexa, Spurs, and Chelsea. Now Chelsea's got they need to sort out a lot of stuff because they need to get some players on. They seem to be selling a lot of players. And Spurs, we know European football. If Ange Postecoglou can get these boys going, gives them a massive chance of breaking into that sort of top 4, top 5, because we now know as well, Logie, the 5th place next year might get you in the Champions League with this new sort of format. So it's vitally United get off to a good start, but I do think United will be winning at least 5, maybe 6 of them games.
They have. That's what I was just looking at. They have to be looking at winning at least 5 of them, and then you have obviously Spurs and Arsenal. And if you get, say, you did pick up 2 draws or pick up 1-1 there or whatever, then it's a brilliant start. You did mention a few clubs there. I totally agree with you, Gary. See, Brighton massively overachieved last year. Now, they were excellent. They were brilliant. They watched and they played probably the best football, right up there with the best football I've seen in a long time in that league. I don't see them doing it this year. They may well do. People might find them out. Newcastle, for me, really, really overachieved. See if they repeat even closely what they did last year, then I'll be gobsmacked. I can't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I just think Eddie Howe's a brilliant manager, but I think a lot of them players are playing well above their station for him. Yep. I don't see them doing it 2 seasons in a row unless he strengthens significantly now in the next month, which he may well do. And if he does, then they might challenge again for the top 4. Arsenal, we haven't mentioned at all this past hour.
What do you think of Declan Rice signing?
See, that's a thing. They've obviously signed Havertz. They've signed. They're going to sign. I don't know if it's wrapped up yet. This Tumber lad from
very, very close from what I hear.
And then if they get Declan Rice wrapped up, you would think that's 3 powerful signings. Now, I haven't seen a lot of Tumber. He's well rated by all accounts, but you would think that's 3 excellent signings. And you would think with the way Arteta has the club, I feel as if he has a brilliant plan, and he has a set way of playing, and he has a great discipline about the team as well. You'd think that they would go again.
Arsenal, I'll tell you what, see, as a Spurs fan, Arsenal worry me big time. I think they're going to be right up there this year. Just think that experience they got last year. The signings, Rice is everybody wanted Rice. There's very few players. You talk about Harry Kane. There's very few players on the market that can walk onto any team. I even think Rice gets on the Man City team, hence why they were interested in him, because we've Gundogan leaving. I know Kovacic has come on, but I do think they're looking for somebody else as well. I think that's why Gabby Vega's been linked. I think they wanted somebody. I think Kovacic is more of a squad player for them, so I think they'll be looking at somebody else. But Rice is a monster of a signing, and I think at West Ham he was wasted a wee bit. He was played very deep. I think he's going to play further forward at Arsenal, more of an 8, more box-to-box player. He
could do that job now. Funny, over this last few days, because it's not wrapped up, I've been kind of thinking, I've been kind of hoping, because this is the thing, this is the romanticist in me as well. He's massive friends with Mason Mount, or the close. So I've been thinking, listen, by the way, he's a snake, what he's done to Ireland, but it'd be our snake if he signed with us, like it'd be our snake. So
funny enough, I've seen a few of them AFTV boys, Arsenal fan TV, they were panicking today because this is rumbling, and there's no sign of it being done anytime soon. Apparently West Ham still aren't. There's some sort of hold up with the fees again of how they're being structured or something. So it's hey, stranger things have happened in football. This would be a body blow if somebody was to come on and take them off Arsenal.
It'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Hey, I'd love it. Love it. Owen's saying here that it'll be hard for Brighton because they've lost big players. Of course, McAllister's going. Another player we haven't mentioned tonight is Caicedo. He's been linked with United and Chelsea. Do you think he'd be a great signing for United?
I would take him in a heartbeat. He'd be him and Declan Rice. Obviously, everybody was looking at. I don't know. I've just reading everything again. I think Chelsea's massively in for him now. They probably have to get rid of a few more. They're concentrating on selling a lot at the minute, but
they reckon
they're going to be heavily in for him. Caicedo, I think he's been brilliant against United a couple of times last year as well. He played right back actually once or twice. And
against Arsenal, he played right back.
He was unbelievable in 1 or 2 of the games I watched as well. No, he's a proper player as well, and he's brilliant in midfield. Now, I would take him as well. I don't see United affording him. That's what I'm saying. United haven't got that sort of.
They're looking around 80 million again. It's a lot of money as well. But calling for a player he's young, he's not played a lot of. He's only been doing it for 1 year, so so it's a big punt to take on a player.
No, but he's a good player. He's good. He seems to have a brilliant attitude. He's got great work ethic. I'm not sure he's that brilliant on the ball. That's the only thing I'd say. Now, he's obviously a good player. I'm not sure he's got the craft and the cuteness in there to play with a top team in midfield. I might be wrong. He's definitely he looks as if he's got serious legs, puts his foot on and dominates midfield in terms of sort of the Casemiro way.
Out of the two, Rice and Caicedo, if you had a choice, out of them two, who would you go for?
I'll go for the snake.
You go for Rice. Now, Logie, another big part of the season, now probably my favourite time of the season is Christmas, because something about just the Christmas games and everyone kind of is off work and everyone is around your sort of family, your friends all meeting up together, going to a pub, watching a good game, especially on Boxing Day or something like that. There's just something about the Christmas games I love, and it's obviously a big part of the season because you play a lot of games in a short space of time. So United have Liverpool away, West Ham away, Villa at home and Forest away. What's your sort of feeling on them 4 games?
Tough. Away fixtures are always tough, and them first 2 won't be easy. Going to West Ham and Liverpool speaks for itself. I would expect us to beat Villa, and I would expect us to beat Forest, even though it'll still be tough. Away games are always tough, but no, that won't be easy over that Christmas period.
Just on Villa, I've seen a lot of people talking them up as potentially getting into the top 6 this year. They finished last season strong. Gerrard had a bit of a disaster there. Emery come on, got them sorted out. He signed a couple of players, but they're in Europe. So, he takes that competition very seriously, them European. He's a specialist on one of them. Do you see that, there's no way they'll be able to they sort of compete in the league and the Conference League? I don't see that happening.
It'll be tough to juggle because they're probably one or two injuries of their top players away from sort of being on around 9th, 10th, aren't they? That's why I kind of see Villa. I don't see them threatening. I definitely don't see them threatening.
I also think as well that run they had last year, all right, it was brilliant, but it's very hard to do that 2 years in a row. I just don't see that being repeated. I think Emery's he is a very, very good manager, right? And he's good at getting teams organised, but he's one of them managers that's either yin and yang, that's going brilliant, or it sinks like a stone. With Arsenal, I think he had a 20-match unbeaten run, and then they just started getting beat every week, and he was sacked. So it's hard to know what'll happen there. And the most important time of the season, Logie, is the run-on. Liverpool at home, Bournemouth away, Newcastle at home, Burnley at home, Palace away, Arsenal at home, Brighton away. So there's some big games on there as well at the end of the season. Liverpool, Newcastle, and Arsenal. But to be fair, they're all at home. So probably where you want to, if you're going to play them teams the back end of the season, you'd rather have them at home. And I mean, that game jumps out right away at the very, very bottom, second last game of the season, Arsenal at home. Do you think there's a chance that could be a title decider?
Jesus, Gareth. Pretty God it is, but fucking hell. A title decider between United and Arsenal. Second last game of the season.
Like the old days. Remember them games?
I would love it. You're right in saying you'd rather be playing them home. I would fancy it. Honestly, I fancy it against anybody at home. Even, like, you're going to laugh. If we're playing Man City, I wouldn't be backing against this because we turned them over last year, 2-1 at home, and it's just the way Ten Hag has Old Trafford at the minute. It's his proper fortress again. So I would fancy us against Liverpool, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Burnley, Palace. Yes, still tough away fixture, and then Brighton will be hard away. Depending, hopefully they have nothing to play for, and there's probably a good chance they might have nothing to play for as well. They could be in around 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th or something like that. So
if you beat Arsenal at home, you won't have to worry about the Brighton away game, sure.
Right?
If you beat Arsenal at home, they won the league, you won't have to worry about the Brighton game, sure.
Okay.
It's been a great show, Colin. Before you go, I want you to give me your top 6 in order for next season.
Oh Jesus, he left.
I know it's very early and there's a lot of stuff to be done, but just your early season feeling, maybe based on what you think might happen as well between now and sort of the season, the transfer window closing.
Top 6. Jesus, you should have told me you were going to ask me this.
So you like the idea? I said you think about it too much, then just sort of off the top of your head.
All right, I'm going to go Man City. I'm going to go Man United.
Do you see he's being close, as in a real title challenge there, or City still being comfortable?
I'm going to sit the fence and say it depends in the next month. If we sign a top striker, we'll get close. I'm not saying we'll want it.
That's a great show, boys. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for all your comments as well. Everyone seems to be enjoying it as well, which is good.
There seem to be a few comments coming through. All right, I've enjoyed it myself, by the way. So, Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Newcastle.
I actually think you're not far away there. I do think that everybody's top 4 is kind of in somewhere there. Just positions have changed around you, but everybody seems to think it's going to be City, United, Arsenal, and Liverpool as the top 4. Everybody kind of thinks that. Everyone assumes Chelsea's going to need a lot of time. think Spurs need time as well. You know, if they really finish in the top 4 next year, it'll be a big surprise to a lot of people. But having said that, I don't think Spurs and Chelsea are completely out of it. I think there's always a team every year. Look, I don't know. There's always a team that underperforms, so there might be a chance that opens up. And I still think that there's only going to be maybe 2 teams fighting it out towards the end. I still think there'll be one. I still think Arsenal's going to be City's closest. But having said that, a lot of fans, I've never seen United and Liverpool fans so sort of optimistic going on this season. I think for different reasons, used because of Ten Hag and what he did last year. And I think Liverpool fans because they spent a bit of money and brought on some new players. So it's definitely going to be interesting.
I'll ask you one last question. And this is probably a stupid question. It might be a stupid question, actually. Would you take 120 for Kane now, or would you let him go on a free next year?
120 million, you couldn't turn it down. Couldn't turn that money down. No way.
I'm surprised you said that. I swear to God, I thought.
I think that will be crazy to turn down me a player in a one year in his contract. I think you'd have to. Not saying that I would sort of want to lose him, but I just don't think he could turn that kind of money down.
He could get you in the. Well, depending on what Postecoglou does over this next month, if he signs 1 or 2 proper signings and keeps Kane, he could probably get you in the top 4.
They give you what I think will happen. I think he'll stay anyway. I don't see a team coming on with that kind of money. I think Spurs have purposely put that price tag on his head. They've ward off any interest. And I think now they're back in pre-season. They're going to Australia now on Friday. So I think I just don't see it happening now. I think it would have happened by now. I think Bayern Munich are well short. They've had 2 bids. There's very little between the 2 bids. They may come back with one more, but nowhere near enough they convince Levy to sell. And I think that's where it'll be down now to Spurs to convince them to stay. I think we're really up against that. You know, we're going to have to do something special this year, win a trophy or definitely get back into the top 4. But Kane's not getting any younger, Logie, and you know yourself, these players only won trophies.
No. Hopefully he's a United player in a month's time.
Before we go, Logie, you watching the match tomorrow night, Derry City? They have a big European away game. You be watching that on the League of Ireland TV?
100%. I'll be on it. That's why, remember, you asked me about tomorrow night. We're training tomorrow night, and then I'll be in tomorrow night to watch that. I haven't sort of missed a Derry game the last. Well, when I say I haven't missed a game, I only missed a few home games in the last year or two. The middle boy and the oldest boy love it, and I love it too. Hey, brilliant.
Good to see Higgins staying as well. Obviously, Barnsley are unchested, but he's staying put. So I want to wish Derry City, all the players, coaches, and fans that travelled out today, the best of luck tomorrow, and hopefully get a positive result. Take it back to Brandywell next week. I'm hoping to be in the Brandywell next week to watch the second leg. I'm sure you're going as well, Logie. So massive European football, be massive. Get a cup run. You know, it will be brilliant for the city. Kieran Preston saying, "Come on, it's City, definitely." Logie, thanks very much. Good luck on the Foyle Cup as well. I'll definitely be out to see some of your games, like yourself. I'm booked off work, so I'll definitely see some of the games. And good luck for the forthcoming season. I'm sure we'll have you on the podcast plenty. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content.
Thanks a million, Gareth. Really enjoyed it. Hey, cheers, and I'll see you over the next week or two. Good man. Hey.